it's about how do you ask the right kind of questions. So even when you're in an established business where playbooks are formalized, where it's predictable, and there are processes set in place, it's never too late to think about a community. I think in SaaS, Rocket Lane has the pre-flight community, which is a great community. And Sri Krishna has also written about how he built the community. He, in fact, built the community before he built the product, which is a great way to go about things. I think this was one of the conversations we had in our community as well, for the same guy who was asking whether I should outsource or not. So I told him, why don't you build a wait list before you actually go all out and build
because
the product?
Krishna, I think, still also, he's a big believer of talking to the customer.
Yes.
Right? And that's how we've been able to, they've been able to
innovate in the
innovate
product.
in such a nice product, and scaling the product in the very complex US market with in a space which is also cluttered.
Exactly.
It's not a new category.
How is it differentiated?
Exactly. Please.
Yeah, so if your business is already established, it's never too late to think about a community. You can always start one.
Yeah.
But need time for it. And don't be salesy.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be pushing your product all the time. Give more than you take, give. At least initially, right? Because what is the value of the community? Recently there was a post by a founder who said, I don't believe in communities.
Okay.
And that's because every Tom, Dick and Harry is building a community. There are so many communities that I'm being part of. And for a founder, it's very, they try to focus, right?
Yep.
So it's easy to cut off for them, because they're like, I want to focus on this only. I'll cut off these distractions.
Yeah.
I will only be working on this, on my product lines.
Yeah.
You're fighting for someone's time, even with the community. First, your product is there, then your community is there. So two things are there. And you're fighting for this person's time. If you're fighting for this person's time, for your community, make it worth it.
Yeah.
Make it worthwhile. Give that person, understand what this person needs and wants and how your product fits in. Then your second part of the part of where your product solves the challenge for them is covered. Yeah. But before that, understand what makes them tick. It's really about the JTBDs of building an ICP, right? It really helps understand the customer, understand how it would change their life, how your product would change their life, and then also retain them in the longer run. Yeah. That is very important.
Yeah.
So if you have it's not like if you know this person, like, okay, it's a seat, or let's say it's a VP engineering who also has a CTO, but then due to some funding crunch or layoffs or whatever, right, they're cutting costs and they're moving to say a certain business. You have a personal connect with them. Yes, you can have a conversation with them and tell them that, hey, why is it that you're turning away from us and just go, why are you cutting it off? You will still find beautiful reasons of joining. And sometimes it's not just your product, sometimes it's other macroeconomic factors. But sometimes when it's your product, you also need to know that conversation. You also need to know what they hate about it.
Yeah.
You also need to know what was the value you underdelivered.
Yeah.
Because that is what is going to define whether your product is going to work in the long run. So I think all those stages of your customer journey, acquisition, engagement, retention, all of that, and even support tickets, right? Like if your customer, so we have Fresh Chat on our website, and most of our customers put their queries on the Fresh Chat, and we also have a public tracker where, so we are also trying to build in public. All our bugs are publicly visible. Sabko pata hai what is going, what is broken, which is being prioritized and not being prioritized. So it's also a way for us to talk fooding our own product, and we also show it to our in our demos and say that this is how we use the public tracker, etc. Different use cases, etc. So in each of these stages of the customer's journey, we are able to build a personal connection. I think that is what differentiates a business at scale, even at scale. I think when you go to a HubSpot or when you go to a Slack, two different business models, right? HubSpot very SLG, Slack very PLG, right? just see the difference in the approach of their. Look at how Slack does their product marketing. And how they inculcate it into their offline parts. Like recently, they had they had put in a kiosk on a metro or a subway, and they played the huddle music in the subway, right? And these are memorable experiences that you create as a marketer. Because as a marketer, yes, there is a discipline that you have in your markets, which I think you do really well in the whole RevOps parts, right? There's a discipline. But as a marketer, you also have a creative side. You need to let that show. And when you marry that with the discipline, you are unstoppable, right? Essentially.
Agreed.
So how do you marry the creativity with the discipline? How do you justify that this is going to work? It's only if you know your customers. And every marketer should know their customer inside out, I think.
Absolutely.
And then you will be able to create delightful experiences. And when you create delightful experiences, it helps your support person, it helps your salesperson, it helps your revenue person, it helps your it probably also helps your what else? Your designers, your whoever, everyone who's working on the product. Right? So